Okay, so this is a short video on the Ecological Succession lab, and it's for the experiment on the Winogradsky Column, which is like a micro ecological community where we're going to look at microbial respiration and changes in the shape and the color over time, and what we can conclude about the organisms from that column. So this was developed by a microbiologist and allows us to have this little microcosm we can study. So I went to the Rio de Flag and got a bag full of soil. So the directions tell you to get basically 5 cups of soil, and I put it in a bag, brought it home, and I sampled from an area that was near fresh water, and then I collected the water. So the water that I collected, I actually just put in a bottle with some airspace in it. The directions tell you to put it in a bag, which may leak, so I felt more comfortable just using a clean 2-liter bottle, which I submerged in an area right next to where I got the soil. So I'm going to put 2 cups of the soil into a container. So this is step. So I went to the place, I took pictures, noted the animals that were around. There was a duck, there was a worm. I know from experience there's frogs there, and I've seen raccoon tracks. So make sure that you take notes of the environment. It asks you to see if there are, if it's recent drought, snow or ice present. And I just went on to our local weather site, NOAA, and it had the humidity information and the temperature for that time in Flagstaff. And so that's what I'm recording for my values. And make sure you include that picture when you submit your report. So I got this home. So now I'm at I'm removing any large debris items. And step 8, put approximately 2 cups of the dirt or mud into a large bowl. So 2 cups, right? 1, and this soil is really wet since we had a huge snow event here recently. So it's very saturated. It's going to vary depending upon your sample site. And then I need to add the calcium carbonate and calcium sulfate. So, shoot, I should have had that out. Let me grab it. Okay, so from the lab kit, getting my calcium sulfate and carbonate. Right in. Let's see, what's this? All right. Detergent. Calcium sulfate, so it's going to be in a little container like this. And then I'm going to look for my calcium carbonate. And let's see. Powder. All right. Okay, so calcium carbonate and the calcium sulfate. So I'm just going to add that in evenly. There we go. Sulfate, carbonate. All right. Okay. Now, so that was step 8. Step 9 is enough water to make a thick, somewhat fluid mixture. So I'm going to take my water from my sample site. Really, I don't see why we got so much water, but you'll have extra. And I'm going to make a thick slurry. Now my soil was really wet, and so I'm not going to need to add too much. Got my paint stirrer. So thick, but somewhat liquid slurry. So pretty general directions. And then it said, you know, pull out any sticks. So I've got a root mass here. So I'm going to put that on the side. All right, stir that up. Okay. And then I'm going to add in my shredded paper. So it says a full sheet of shredded newspaper. So in my case, I don't have newspaper, so I'm just going to use about 5 sheets of regular 8.5 by 11 paper. The thinner that you can actually shred it, the more surface area will be provided for the microorganisms. So I think you'll be a little bit better off. So I'm just going to shred this paper and to small pieces, right? And then add that in. So adding in my small pieces, and then I'm going to mix it up. So again, if you want to put these in even tinier pieces, you'll be better off than if you have bigger pieces. So put that in. All right. Then once we do this, we're going to put it into the soda bottle. So I had a 2-liter soda bottle that I cut the top off, and we'll mix this up. All right. The rest of it almost done. Okay. Go. All right, my shredded paper. So newspaper would probably be a little bit better because it's thinner. So maybe 5 sheets was a little bit much. I'm going to stir this around. Get it all well mixed. All right, so we've provided some carbon sources, calcium for our microorganisms. Here we go. All right. Next, add mixture to soda bottle, tap on the ground or other hard surface to pack until mixture tightly to the bottom, no air pockets or bubbles. So I'm going to pour it into my empty 2-liter bottle that I've cut the top off. Oh. Ugh, nice mess. Okay. My soil is nice and dark, pretty rich material. So it was a pretty healthy, very active, biologically active site that I sampled from. All right. I did take out the worms just because I didn't want them to die. Okay. Then I tap it. Mine's super dense already, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of air in there, but if yours is, then you can just make sure that you get that out. All right. Paint stir, further pack the mud, remove any air. And then 13, add approximately 2 cups of the remaining unmodified dirt or mud, which we would call soil generally in biology, on top of the previous layer, and tap again to pack it down. Okay. Ugh, mine's really dense. There we go. Okay, so 2 more cups. Like a cooking show. Here we go. This guy's in there. 1, 2. Oh, little wormy. Okay, gonna save him. Save my little wormy. Hey, worm friend. Okay. Remove another little piece of root. And then pack down. All right. So next, 14, add water to a depth of about 1 inch above the top layer of mud, leaving 1 inch of airspace between the surface of the water and the top of the bottle. So you're going to have a little bit more airspace. There is a video that's provided by eScience, and they even had a little extra airspace too. That's going to be okay. You could cut down the bottle if you want. So I'm going to add water to about 1 inch above. And mine, like I said, is so dense. It's just going right on the top. Okay. And then what you're asked to do is to mark that level with a marker and then come back 30 minutes later. So for the purposes of this video, I'm not going to do that, but you mark on there and then you wait 30 minutes and see if the water level has increased. So maybe it expanded if it was really dry soil, it could expand and absorb that water. It's hygroscopic, or if there was air spaces in there, it could have percolated down and the water level drop. At the end of 30 minutes, you come back and you either pour off excess water or add additional water to make sure it's at that level. And then I think that's it. Double check. Yeah, we let it sit, cover the top with plastic wrap, and secure with a rubber band. So you get some plastic wrap. And then I wrote my date on here so that I knew when I sampled it. So that's February 11th for me. Okay. There's my plastic wrap over the top, rubber band, which I had. So I was going to use this bucket, but I changed my mind. I ended up just using a Pyrex bowl. Rubber band on the top. And we're good. So again, you will need to let it sit and then just adjust water as needed. Make sure it's at that line. And then you're going to put this in a safe place. So I really can't emphasize this enough, to put this in a place where it's going to be exposed to a light source. So I'm going to put mine actually in the window in the kitchen. It's got a little bit of a ledge and I can put it in there and put some plants in front of it so it's protected and it won't fall over. So this is very easy to spill, and you don't want to ruin your experiment. So at this point, what I would do is I get my camera, grab my camera. And I'm just going to take a picture of the initial conditions for my column. And I've got the date on there. And I want to put it in an area where there's a lot of light, so I'd actually move it maybe to a table over there. And then I'll go ahead and take the picture of it, right? And as I take the picture, I want to make sure that every subsequent picture that I'm taking it in the same orientation. So I'm going to be looking for differences in the layering. We should hopefully see distinctive layers start to appear as the organisms begin to kind of settle out and have these micro climates and little niches in there, little functional groups. So I would take this picture, right, in a good environment, and then I'll come back and take a picture, one picture every week for 8 weeks. And then those pictures you'll put into your lab report, and you will comment on, what you've actually seen. So qualitative measurements, meaning things that don't necessarily have numbers with them, but you're going to be looking for any changes in color, if you see any gas or bubbles that are being created, and any layering that you're observing. So basically that's it. Good luck. I hope you enjoy it, and just make sure that you're safe and that it's safe. And especially as time goes on, as the microbes emit gas and things, just don't want that to spill in your house. So, all right, let me know if you have any questions.